Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me and thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me and watch this video. For today's project, we will use legal size notepad. This is the large one. So the measurements are 11 inches and 3/4 by 8.5, and the thickness of it is approximately 1/4 of an inch. We will use cardstock. This is cardstock on a roll, so it actually comes in 24-inch width. So there is actually quite a bit of it on a roll, as you can see. I purchased this one in MaKala's. So I already pre-cut this to size because, you know, the roll is quite large. So I did cut piece to approximately 14 inches, the height, and the width I left it as it was, 24 inches. So we will use that. We will use some decorative paper. So this is the one I'm choosing for the cover. And we will use chipboard. For the chipboard, we will need 2 pieces 9 by 12. We will need 1 piece 2 1/4 by 12. And we will use 2 pieces 3/4 by 12. So now, to start this project, we will have to glue the cardstock, and as you can see, this is trying to roll back. So the way we will position the chipboard is 9 by 12, 3/4, 9 by 12, 3/4, and 2 1/4 by 12. Now, the 24-inch of that black cardstock, the width is just about perfect for all these pieces. On each side, right here and right here, you're gonna have only left approximately 3/4 of an inch. So when we glue these pieces together, just be careful, because if you leave too much space on this side, you won't have enough space on the opposite side to wrap this up. So let me get my glue ready, and we will start gluing those pieces. Now, as you can see, this is trying to lift up. So I'm just going to put something on the top to keep this put. And again, when gluing it, I'm going to glue it a little bit closer. So I'm trying to leave approximately 3/4 of an inch on the side, just to make sure I'm going to have enough cardstock left on the opposite side. Okay. So now we're going to glue this piece, leaving approximately 1/8 of an inch space in between. And my glue seems to be getting stuck. It doesn't want to do it. I just want to glue this together, so I'm just gonna spread it this way before it dries on me. All right, let me change maybe my bottle. Okay, I think this one is gonna be much better. Okay, so since we have all the pieces glued, now we will score all around the way we normally do. And I will fold all around with my spatula to make sure that we have those nice edges. Okay, and one more side. Okay, so now we will miter the corners the way we normally do. This is large piece, so small angle, and we are leaving a little bit of that cardstock at the corner. Let me see what I'm doing right here. Just like this. And the last one. Just like that. So now we can glue all the sides. Let's squish it to make sure that all adheres. Okay. If you see that something sticks out, just add more glue. I know that this piece is really long, but we want to make sure that everything adheres. Okay. Now, many of you ask what glue I'm using. Let me just plug this in. So I am using art glitter glue. This one dries clear, and I buy this in big bottles from Amazon. So our cover is almost done. I will just make a little score right here, right in between the chipboard, so it will be easier for us to kind of fold this. So this will be our cover. Now we're gonna cover the space right in between. So I don't have any cardstock left, shorter pieces, so I will just use another sheet, and I will cut it to approximately 2.5 inches, and we will need 2 strips. Now you could also use the cardstock that we use for the cover, but for me it's not comfortable because it is so big for this desk and everything else I have around, so I'm just gonna use different one. And now 12 inches is too long, so we need to cut this to 11.5. So we position this on the middle to make sure that the space in between the chipboard is covered well. And now I will run the spatula just where the joint is, just to stretch this paper a little bit. Okay, just like that. Okay, so you can see that now it's going to be so much easier to actually fold this over. So now we're going to do the same thing to this side. And we run the spatula to create this crease, just like that. So now this will be our cover, just like this. So now we will decorate the front, but what I found is that it's nice to run that crease where these joints are, because it's creating, I think, nice surface to work with, and you can actually see where your joints are. So for the cover, I'm choosing this paper, which we will pre-cut to size. And we need 8 3/4 by 11 3/4. Second sheet 8 3/4 by 11 3/4. And now the leftover pieces, I'm gonna pre-cut the length to 11 3/4 because we need this for the spine. And let me trim it a little bit. So we need to cut this. I'm gonna cut it to a little bit more than 1/2 inch. Just a tiny bit more. And it didn't cut all the way through. And the second piece. I want to make sure that it's about the same. Okay, we got 2 pieces for the spine. And we have 2 inches left over, so if you want, we can do this for the flap, or you can use different color paper for the flap. So now we can glue this just like that. So now the border all around, approximately 1/8 of an inch. Okay. So the spine I will do later. And again, we position this on the middle, so we pay attention to the distance on the top, on the bottom, but also the spine. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it really should be close enough, because when you are too far on one side and you have too big of a space, it will make the difference in the look of the final piece. So I will apply the same color for the flap, and I'm not sure at this point if I'm going to leave it like that or not. But even if I choose to place something on the top, the background, or at least the border, will still match the other panels. Okay. And now we do the spine. Now I decided to make this legal size notepad. Some of you asked me to make some, and I previously made it, I believe, only one. So I figure, why not? Let's just make a different version of it and give you some choices of what we can include, how we can make this. So I hope you're gonna enjoy this video, and I hope this is something that most of you were looking for, because I know that some of you definitely have been looking for this. Okay, so as you can see, our cover is done. So this is how it looks, and if you like more of a plain look, we can just leave it the way it is. If not, we can apply something else right on top of it. So now we will decorate the inside. So for the inside, I'm gonna choose this paper for decoration, and we will pre-cut this to size. And just like for the front, we will cut to 8 3/4 by 11 3/4. I'm paying attention to the direction. 11 3/4. And now we will use that for the spine. So the height will be 11 3/4. And again, I'm gonna cut this a little bit more than 1/2 inch, but less than 3/4. And we will need approximately 2 inches for the flap. So now we're gonna glue all these pieces just like that. So the inside is covered, outside is covered. We have, I think, beautiful presentation. And here will be our notepad. So we will make removable notepad. Okay, so I have some of this paper left, which I will be using to make this removable. So we will position upside down on the back, just like that. Fold it over. Pull out just a tiny bit to make this a little bit more loose for replacement. And let's fold this over. So now we want to make this pretty, because I'm assuming you might be making this as a gift. So we will just make it little angle from the beginning to the score, just like that, on all four sides. So when we glue this and someone will be replacing this notepad, they won't see any white peeking from underneath. So now we're going to position this back, just like this, and we will glue it. So we will apply the glue. Now don't put glue too close to the edges, because you don't want to glue that notepad. So now we can position on the middle, just like that. I will squish it from the inside just to make sure it adheres. So you see now, when we remove this notepad, you don't see anything white on the side. It's just nice presentation when somebody actually wants to replace this. And as you can see, it's very easy to position this back with the replacement. So for the inside, now we will need to work on this. I do want to make pocket on this side. I want to make pocket, and then on the top of the pocket we will do something else. So that's 11 3/4. So I will use another piece of cardstock for the pocket, and we will pre-cut this to 11 3/4. That will be the height. By 8. So I don't want to make a straight up pocket like this. I want to make an angle. So for angle, I will use my board. So when I position this on my board, this will be the bottom, this will be the top. Now we can create the angle. So for the top, I'm gonna leave 2 inches right here. How about 2.5? 2.5 on this side and 2.5 on the top. And I will just cut it just like that on the angle. So this piece I will hold. And now we need to decide if we will cover this with any paper. Now I don't have any more of this, so I need to cover with something else, which I think it's okay, but we need to make sure that everything is gonna match and flow really nicely. So I think I'm gonna use this one to cover the packet. So the way we're gonna do this, I am gonna overlap the packet right in here. I will take pen, okay, and I will just draw, just so I can see how big this packet is. So it's not easy to see on this side, but I have the line in here, so I will cut this just approximately 1/8 of an inch smaller. Now I will do the same thing for the angle. And the same thing on this side right here, just a little bit smaller. So now when I take the packet and I put this right on the top, you can see that we will end up with that little black border, and that's really what I want, but I want a little bit bigger border, so I'm gonna trim it just a tiny bit more, because I want this packet to be really visible. Whoever is gonna open this up, I want them to see that there is a packet. So now you can see my border is a little bit thicker. I really like this look. So now I am gonna apply the glue and just glue this right on the top. Okay, so I'm matching up the corner. I don't want to see the border all the way around, just on those 3 sides. Okay. So now I will glue the packet just like this. And we will apply glue only on 2 sides. So we will apply it only thin strip right in here and right in here. So now when I position this, I really don't want to see any background on the side of this brown. I want to see only the packet, just like that. Okay. So right now, you can see we can place anything in here. So to make that holder, we will use cardstock and of course paper for decoration. So I think that the easiest way to actually make this is to start with full size sheet, and we will score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 8 inches, 8 1/2, and 10 inches. So whatever we have left over after the 10 inches, I will just cut this off. So now when we turn this around, we will score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 4.5, and 5. So this will be the cell phone cover. Now we will also need paper to decorate this cover. So I used this one, and we will cut this to 3.25 by 6.75. So 6.75 by 3.25, and I will cut 2 of those. And we will apply this before we actually start folding the cover. So now at this point we need to identify where will be the front. So this panel will be the front because you got 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. The first 1/2 inch, it's gonna be the glue flap that is on the back. So maybe I will fold this just to show you. So let's fold these scores. So now you see this is the 1/2 inch panel and 1/2 inch panel. When we folded, this will become the glue flap on the back, just like that, or like that, it doesn't matter. So this will be the front. So we need to decorate that front. So I will just apply the glue, and let's glue this on the middle of the panel, just like that. So now, if this is the front, this is the back, the other sheet, we will apply it right here, because when we cut out the window on this side, you will be able to see the inside of this holder. So here it is. So you can see if we cut out the window, now you're gonna see part of this, it will look nice. So now when you open this and you know that this is the front, we need to make some cutouts right here on the bottom. So on this side you had 1, 2, 3, 4 little squares, and we will cut them out just like that. So this panel will be the flap where we glue it on towards the back. So we need to keep this, and then on the next score we will cut it straight down and straight down this way on the second score, just like that. So this is the bottom, and you see if you fold this back, this will be glued just like this on the back of it. So now we need to work on the top. So for the top, we need to cut this off, because this is where we're going to put the cell phone, but we're going to have to keep this side. When you fold this over, you want this back to go over and cover the front, which means if you have this bottom portion in here, so we need to cut out the top portion of the front panel. So this is the back, and right by the first score, we're gonna just make it cut straight down. And the first score, we're gonna make it cut straight down this way. So this is how this should look like. And actually, we need to cut this little piece in here and all the way down, like this. So this is the front. Here is the glue panel. So when we close it, it will look like this. You see the bottom, we're gonna tack underneath and glue it this way. And the top is becoming our closure, our flap. So I hope this makes sense. Just like that. So just try it and test it. So when you close it, you should have nice coverage right here. And mine, I didn't cut it straight on the score. So it's just a little bit too big. Now it's perfect. So before we start gluing anything, we need to identify the size of the window right here. So I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but let me try. I can't, well, I can see it on the angle. I don't know if you can see it. So I will use this. So what I'm going to do, I will measure the top of the front. See, this is the front. So from the top, I'm going to measure 2 inches right here, right here, and I am just going to draw the line right there, just like that. From the bottom, we will measure, I will measure 1 inch. If you want smaller window, you could measure 1.5 inches. But I want big window, so 1 inch it is. And now we need to measure from one side to another, which I will measure 3/4 inch on this side and 3/4 inch on this side. Okay, let's join these lines. And that will be our window opening. So now I will cut this. Okay, we got our window opening. So now I'm going to be able to put the cell phone in. Okay, we apply to the flap. And here is our cover. Now we will make a holder for pen and pencil, or 2 pens. Maybe you like to use gel pens, 2 different colors for your notes. Whatever you like, we will be able to position them right in here. So for the cover, I will use some of the cardstock that I have left. And I will need strip 2.5 inches. And we will score. So 2.5 inches on the top, and we will score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, and 2. Now we can fold our scores. And now I want my pen holder to be approximately 1.25 inches. So I'm just gonna cut it with the knife. 1.25, and here 1.25. And those are the 2 pen holders. So we will just glue them. Just like that. And now, when you try to position them, I would suggest to put your pen or your pencil inside the holder before you glue this, because you want to make sure that you glue this the proper way, however you want to see it. So if you glue this too high, you see it's going to interfere with your pocket. So I think I like it this way. So let me apply the glue, and I will position it just like that. I will take this one and position this nice and even. Now I can remove the pen and squish it. I'm going to remove this one and squish it to make sure it adheres. And here are our pencil covers. So we are almost done. As you can see, when you close this, you have very nice presentation, and it fits just beautifully. You can see it from the inside. I hope how nicely it's nesting on this side, and this is the reason why I put the cell phone holder right in here. So now we just need to complete the closure. And because we have a lot of black accents in here, I will still use those dots, black ones. And because this is such a big piece, I am gonna place 2 of them. Just like that. Let's close it. When you close this, make sure your cover is nice and straight. First time you open it, be careful. You don't want to rip the paper. And now we can reinforce this. And we have beautiful presentation. Now we will make a holder for pen and pencil, or 2 pens. Maybe you like to use gel pens, 2 different colors for your notes. Whatever you like, we will be able to position them right in here. So for the cover, I will use some of the cardstock that I have left. and I will need strip 2.5 inches. And we will score. So 2.5 inches on the top, and we will score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, and 2. Now we can fold our scores. And now I want my pen holder to be approximately 1.25 inches. So I'm just going to cut it with the knife. 1.25, and here 1.25. And those are the 2 pen holders. So we will just glue them. Just like that. And now, when you try to position them, I would suggest to put your pen or your pencil inside the holder before you glue this, because you want to make sure that you glue this the proper way, however you want to see it. So if you glue this too high, you see it's going to interfere with your pocket. So I think I like it this way. So let me apply the glue. And I will position it just like that. I will take this one and position this nice and even. Now I can remove the pen and squish it. I'm going to remove this one and squish it to make sure it adheres. And here are our pencil covers. So we are almost done. As you can see, when you close this, you have very, very nice presentation. And it fits just beautifully. You can see it from the inside. I hope how nicely it's nesting on this side. And this is the reason why I put the cell phone holder right in here. So now we just need to complete the closure. And because we have a lot of black accents in here, I will still use those dots, black ones. And because this is such a big piece, I am gonna place 2 of them. Just like that. Let's close it. When you close this, make sure your cover is nice and straight. First time you open it, be careful. You don't want to rip the paper. And now we can reinforce this. and we have beautiful presentation. So now you can see my cell phone is smaller, but it will still fit. So whoever has bigger cell phone, you will be able to put it there, and it's easy because of the window. It's really easy to remove it. So I hope you like this project. I hope you enjoy watching me making this. If you liked it, please hit like button. Please share, comment, subscribe. All of those things really help my channel grow. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in my next video.